morning, dear students. So we already completed two important chapters. The first one is the basic introductory part for microeconomics. So that is very interesting and very easy chapter. Yes, what we discussed in the first chapter, that is about economy and introduction for economy. So in that easy chapter, what we learned? We learned simple economy. What do you mean by economy? Then what are the basic problems of an economy? And three types of economy. Then positive economy, normative economy, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Is it clear? And that chapter is very easy. Okay, then come to the next very important chapter, that is very important from the examination point of view. So what is that chapter? What is the title of the chapter? That is Theory of Consumer Behavior. Yes, see here. Theory of consumer behavior. Theory of consumer behavior. And this chapter is very important from the examination point of view. So I already mentioned it in your all classes. That is 28 marks are given according to blueprint of PUE board Bengaluru. Okay, my dear students, let us try to revise all those important things whatever we covered in this second chapter. Okay, come to the first very important topic what we covered in the first chapter. That is very interesting, and that is known as the concept of utility analysis. Okay, so what we covered? We covered utility analysis. Utility analysis. Yes, today I am going to just revise all those things. Yes, is it clear? So the first concept is, that is very important, utility analysis. So what we discussed here? We discussed meaning, yes, and then features, then types, yes. So what is the meaning of utility? Utility is want satisfying power of a commodity. So few important features are discussed. That is, utility is not objective, it is subjective. Utility differs from place to place, time to time, and utility is a psychological concept, etc. And then types of utility. So we discussed three important types of utility: initial utility, and then marginal utility, and another one, that is total utility. Yes, what we discussed? We discussed initial utility, marginal utility and total utility. And we discussed formulas. How to calculate total utility? Total utility is equal to, that is summation of M. Then how to calculate marginal utility? Change in, that is total utility divided by change in Q. So these formula we discussed and we explained with the help of example. Okay, then come to the next very important topic, that is two approaches to study consumer behavior. Yes, what we covered? We covered two approaches. What they are? Two approaches to study consumer behavior. Two approaches to study consumer behavior. Yes, what they are? They are cardinal analysis and another one ordinal analysis. And we explain these all things in detail. So what do you mean by cardinal analysis? Cardinal analysis, that is developed by Alfred Marshall, and utility is expressed in terms of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. And ordinal analysis, that is developed by whom? That is developed by R.J. Hicks and Allen. R.J.D. Allen and Hicks. Yes. We discussed these two in detail. Okay. Then come to the next point, that is about cardinal analysis, what we study, and in ordinal analysis, what we study. Yes, my dear students, please go through these all interesting things, then it is very easy to understand. Yes, so the two approaches, what we study in the two approaches, the first concept is over, that is utility, marginal utility, and total utility, calculation of marginal and total utility. Yes, the second one, cardinal and ordinal analysis. Cardinal and ordinal analysis. So what we study in cardinal analysis, that is nothing but the difference between cardinal and ordinal analysis. Is it clear? So in cardinal analysis, we explained the one important law, and the law is known as law of diminishing marginal utility. The law of diminishing marginal utility. So this is very important law from the examination point of view. So, and this is asked for 6 marks. Okay. After the consideration of the law of diminishing marginal utility, and we covered the two more important topics, that is budget line and budget set. So what do you mean by budget line and what do you mean by budget set? Okay, budget line, it is nothing but locus of different combinations of two goods which the consumers and whose income that exactly equals to his expenditure. Expenditure is equal to his income. Okay, and this budget line, that is explained with the help of budget set. And budget set is also very important from the examination point of view. Okay, and we explained the budget set with the help of numerical example, and that question is asked for 5 marks, that is related to project and assignment. Yes, dear students, please you have to throw light on the study of budget set and budget line. Okay, and we discussed about the properties of budget line. Budget line slopes downward. Why it slopes downward? Because the consumer, if he wants to purchase more of one commodity, he has to give up the another commodity. So the budget line that slopes downward. And how the ratio is calculated? The price ratio, that is Px divided by Py. So in detail we study about the budget line, budget ratio and budget set. Okay, so what is the shape of the budget line? See here. So this is the shape of the budget line. Am I right? So the question arises, is budget line remains the same? Is there any possibility for the shift in the budget line? Yes. There are two conditions. Budget line shifts when price changes, budget line shifts, and when income changes, budget line shifts. Okay. So when price changes, when income changes, this is the original budget line. As our income increases, budget line shifts towards right. As our income decreases, budget line shifts towards left. So when price changes, the budget line also changes or shifts towards left or right. See here. Yes. So this is the original budget line. Yes. So when the price of this X changes, when the price of X decreases, we purchase more of X. So when the price of Y changes, decreases, we purchase more of Y. So in this way, the budget line shifts. Okay, this is the very important concept. And come to the next very important concept, that is about ordinal analysis. Okay, so what do you mean by ordinal analysis? And who developed ordinal analysis? Okay, who developed ordinal analysis? That is Hicks and Allen developed ordinal analysis. Okay, Hicks and Allen developed ordinal analysis. And in ordinal analysis, what we study? We study that is indifference curve. So this is also very important topic from the examination point of view. So what do you mean by indifference curve? Indifference curve shows the different combination of two commodities. One is on X and another one is on Y. Different combinations of these X and Y, and all combinations gives you the same level of satisfaction. And the indifference curve also slopes downward from left to right. And here also the very important topic is given, and what is that topic? That is the features of indifference curve and the indifference map. So indifference map, it is nothing but set of indifference curves. So like this we studied already. Yes. So the consumer always prefer to move from first indifference curve to second indifference curve, second indifference curve to third indifference curve. And that concept is known as what? Monotonic preference. That concept is known as monotonic preference. Higher the indifference curve, higher will be the satisfaction. Lower the indifference curve, lower will be the satisfaction. Therefore, intelligent consumer always moves from lower indifference curve to higher indifference curve. Okay. And the question arises, why the indifference curve slopes downward from left to right? It is because of marginal rate of substitution. And this marginal rate of substitution is diminishing. So we discussed about this 1:1, 1:2, 1:3 and 1:4. Please go through the concept, then only it is very easy to understand. Yes, my dear students. So diminishing marginal rate of substitution is the basic element, and because of this basic element, the indifference curve slopes downward from left to right. Okay, then what are the properties of indifference curve? In detail we already discussed. That is, indifference curve slopes downward from left to right. It cannot be vertical and it cannot be horizontal. It never and ever rises upward. It cannot be, that is, a concave. It is always convex, and it cannot be bulged. And two indifference curve never and ever intersects each other. Okay. And after this, what we discussed? We discussed about the optimal choice of consumer with the help of budget line and that is indifference curve. See here. This is the budget line and this is the indifference curve. Yes. So we always prefer, that is the second one. So this is very important, that is optimal choice of consumer behavior. And after the concept of cardinal and ordinal analysis, the one more interesting topic is given for your study, that is about demand. So what do you mean by demand? What are the determinants of demand, law of demand, etc. So discussed already in the different sessions. So what do you mean by demand? Demand is backed up by ability to pay and willingness to pay the price of commodity. Yes. And the demand curve always slopes downward from left to right. What we discussed about the demand. Yes. See here. So this is the demand curve. And this demand curve always slopes downward from left to right, because there is opposite relationship between price and demand. When price is more, demand is less. Price is less, demand is more. And because of this, the demand curve slopes downward from left to right. And here we study about the demand function and the derivation of demand schedule and the law of demand. Yes, I want to give you the idea about the demand function, that is quantity demanded is equal to A minus BP, and then law of demand. And in the law of demand, what we study, the statement of the law, the explanation of the table and the demand curve. And after the law of demand, we study about the important types of goods. So only two types of goods are given for your study. One is normal goods and another one is inferior goods. So we explained what do you mean by normal goods and what do you mean by inferior goods. So as income increases, demand for some goods increases, they are called normal goods. So inferior goods, as income increases, demand decreases. Take for example here delta. Take for example here what? Daily used goods. And we already discussed about substitutes and complementary goods. So what do you mean by substitutes and what do you mean by complementary goods? Substitute means, so we cannot use together two goods. Take for example tea and coffee. Either we have to consume tea or we have to consume coffee. Then complementary goods are those which are used together, cement and bricks. So it is not possible to use cement only and bricks only. So these are the two types of goods. So we already discussed. And one more important concept we covered, that is shift in movement along the demand curve and shift in demand curve. Movement along the demand curve. This is the first one, and second one, shift in the demand curve. Yes. So movement along the demand curve. Just I will see here. Draw the diagram. Movement along the demand curve. Yes. So this is the demand curve. So movement along the demand curve. Originally this is price and this is quantity. When price increases, demand decreases. Yes. When price decreases, demand increases. So 3 points are there. This is about what? This is about movement along the demand curve. And one more interesting thing, that is shift in the demand curve. So the price remains the same. Other factor, change in other factor responsible for, that is shift in the demand. So this is the original demand curve. Yes. When income increases, it shifts towards right. When income decreases, it shifts towards left. So we already discussed this concept in detail. And the concept of, that is what? Market demand curve is also explained with the help of numerical examples, etc. And market demand, that is given for, that is 6 marks question. Yes, we have to take care while drawing the market demand curve. So we have to draw 3 market demand curves. 3 demand curves. So this is for A, B, this is for B, this is for market. Yes. So this is what? It is market demand curve. We already explained. And come to the one more important topic which we covered, that is price elasticity of demand. So what is elasticity of demand? That is nothing but responsiveness of demand. So demand changes because of change in important factors, and while discussing about price elasticity of demand, we have to throw light on what? Price. So that is very important. When price changes, demand changes. So the question arises, how much of change in price leads to how much of change in demand? Yes. Here we study about the formulas. Percentage change in demand. Percentage change in demand divided by percentage change in price. This is the first formula. And what is the second formula? Delta Q by delta P into P by Q. And we already discussed about this, the delta Q and delta P and P by Q. Yes. And the one more important topic that is covered, that is types of elasticity of demand. There are 5 types of elasticity of demand: perfectly elastic demand, perfectly inelastic demand, more elastic demand, less elastic demand, and unitary elastic demand. Yes, I want to show the 5 kinds of elasticity of demand with the help of diagram for your easy understanding. Yes. So the first one, perfectly elastic demand. See here. Perfectly elastic demand. So it is like this. Perfectly elastic demand. Here price elasticity of demand is equal to what? Infinite. And the second one, inelastic. Perfectly inelastic. The price may be more or less, the demand remains the same. More or less, so the demand remains the same. So this is vertical, price elasticity of demand is equal to 0. Then come to the third one, more elastic. More elastic. So more elastic means what? Big change in price and small change in price and big change in demand. See here. The percentage of change in price. The percentage of change in price. So originally this is the price and this is the demand. So small change in price, big change in demand. So this is what? More elastic demand. Here price elasticity of demand is equal to what? It is greater than, yes, it is greater than 1. And come to the fourth one, less elastic demand. Less elastic demand. This is OY and this is OX. So this is the original price and this is the original demand. Big change in price and small change in demand. See here, big change in price, small change in demand. So price elasticity of demand, that is equal to less than 1, it is stiffer. Then come to the fifth one, unitary elastic demand. So both changes in same direction. So see here, this is the original. Yes. So unitary elastic demand. So these are the 5 kinds of elasticity of demand, and we also discussed about the factors determining elasticity of demand: nature of goods, availability of substitutes, income of the consumer, habits, tastes, preferences, then deferred consumption, market awareness, etc. And one more, the last important topic, that is about income elasticity, expenditure elasticity of demand. Yes, my dear students. So these are the very important and easy topics, but these all are interesting technical topics and given for your syllabus. So out of 100 marks, 28 marks are given for this chapter. So please study carefully. I will discuss the questionnaire with answers, 1 mark questions, multiple choice questions, and then 2 marks questions, then 4 marks questions, and then 6 marks questions, etc. So in the next session I am going to discuss the questionnaire and answers. So my dear students, please practice these all things very carefully. Then today I am going to give you one more important idea. That idea is about how to write, that is 6 marks or 2 marks or 1 marks questions. Okay, in simple words, listen. So only I am going to discuss with only the few mark questions, that is 1 marks questions. So take for example, multiple choice questions are there, 20 marks questions are there for 1 marks. Okay, First one, that is multiple choice. Second one, fill in the blanks. Then third one, match the following. And fourth one, that is 1 mark questions. So this is about the 20 marks, very important, that is boost energy for your score on the now head. Yes, my dear students. So how to remember and how to write 1 marks questions? Yes, we have to take care while writing 1 mark questions. So it take for example 4 multiple choice, 5 multiple choice questions are there, each carrying 1 marks. In next class I will discuss in detail with the question paper. I am going to discuss. Multiple choice, 4 options are given, and we have to write only answer and not to write the question. Take for example, so census is carried once in 4 options are there: 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, 12 years. So we have to write only answer number 1, that is 10 years, not to write question and not to write 4 options, because time is less and economics paper is too lengthy. Okay, my dear students, in the next session we will discuss the very important things related to question paper and answers. Yes, so please listen these all videos once, twice and thrice and concentrate on your study. Okay, stay home, stay happy and stay positive. See you in the next session.